Okay, so the show is Dads. Congratulations,
Thank you.
first of all.
Thank you.
How is it playing father and son? Have you guys been bonding?
Yeah.
You know, it feels like I've known Seth for literally years. That's how quickly
Yeah.
the relationship worked out. So
We did have a point of access. We had done a pilot. We were in the same pilot in the early 90s. So, and I was well aware, of course, who he was as an actor.
and vice versa.
Because he's legendary.
Yeah.
Legendary. This is a Seth MacFarlane show, so is it safe to say that everything's kind of on the table, nothing's off limits as far as comedy goes?
I would say pretty much.
I mean, I'm sure they're going to self-censor, and I'm sure the network will let them know if they push too far, but
Yeah.
the goal is not to disrupt the television pantheon with something alarmingly offensive. It's really just to make a show that feels like the kind of show we all grew up with, the kind of multi-camera show that was about a group of people you could relate to, that you wanted to hang out with every week, that we're going to talk about culturally provocative things and try and give the audience a perspective on them. I mean, I grew up on all those shows, and I really
Well, I'm a
feel
huge
like
fan of
feel like a
Family
better
Guy,
person.
so when I knew that, actually I've seen him for years, and after I read the pilot, I couldn't really hear, what does this sound like? So I watched about 7 or 8 Family Guys. And of course, I didn't know Seth was going to be my son, but listening to him be a son to Peter Griffin, I went, oh, okay, I kind of get where they're going. And just to see if they can even remotely approach what they get away with in Family Guys, tempting enough. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Martin is in a towel in the pilot. How are you going to one-up him on that?
I'm going to let him
Full
rule.
frontal.
I'm going to let him rule the towel world.
He's gonna.
I'm going to sit from afar in 3-piece suits. And,
He'll carry a series of baseball bats and Nalgene bottles and all sorts of things to block his nudity.
I like it. Now, what do we see on the show in terms of you guys' relationships? I know the pilot's kind of setting up the situation.
we're kind of finding out as we go along. That's the fun. I've never really done anything like this before, so it's
Where you have so
fascinating.
little information up front.
No information. But for me as an actor, I always, that's how I came to it. I didn't study acting, so I developed my own vocabulary with the other actors. And I like the idea of not knowing and being in command of every element. I like the surprise of what, you know, I'll deal with the script and let them tell me. So every week I learn something new.
Okay. Now, at least in the pilot, Eli is unattached. He's kind of dating around in that.
Yeah.
Is that going to stay that way, or would you like to see him settle down? What do you think?
I think that's a common theme, is that Eli, and the way that I've been trying to rationalize it, is his dad left when he was a kid, and so he really has no context for a relationship being successful, yet he was raised by a very strong female presence, and so I see him just kind of searching after women that would never be suitable partners for him, just so he could say that they're not good enough. But he surrounds himself with all these strong, powerful women, whether it's Brenda's character, Tanita's character, even Vanessa's character. He's got all these matriarchal characters that provide him the kind of security and lessons that he needs.
Yeah. And
He just works his way through girls like, I'm so alone and miserable.
I think that the what's interesting is probably Eli fears growing up to be like his father.
Yeah.
And
It's the biggest conversation that we have is that both of them kind
and
of
that
mirror each
David also fears that Eli is going to grow up to be like him. And I think that's what makes this combativeness have some sentiment to it.
Okay. All right. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank
All right,
you.
Dads.
Thanks, man.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, you bet.